FAIRshake Toolkit to enable fair compliance assessment of biomedical digital objects, Lily Wang.
Hello, so I'm a member of the Mayan Lab at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai, and as part of our efforts in the Data Commons Pilot Project Consortium, we are developing FAIRshake, which is a software toolkit to enable the assessment of the fair compliance of biomedical digital research objects, so including ontologies. So for anyone who's unfamiliar with the FAIR guiding principles, they are a set of guidelines for digital object producers and publishers to make their digital objects more findable, accessible, interoperable, reusable, or fair. So basically to accelerate the exchange of information and enhance knowledge discovery. So FAIRshake sets up an assessment system evaluating how fair biomedical digital research objects are. So to give a quick overview of how the FAIRshake system works, digital objects are associated with a set of 9 questions to evaluate their fairness. So these questions are ones that we have chosen based on established community guidelines, while also prioritizing easy comprehension by a broad audience. So assessments may be submitted manually to FAIRshake through the website evaluation form, which I will be showing in a minute, or programmatically to the FAIRshake API. And in order to visually communicate the fairness level of a digital object, we have developed this FAIR insignia, which is a 3x3 grid of colored squares. Each square represents the results of the aggregated assessments for 1 out of the 9 questions. This is on a color scale from blue for 100% positive to red for 100% negative answers. So an overview of the key features of the website. This is at fairshake.cloud. Related digital objects are grouped into collections called projects. So for each project, FAIRshake displays the digital objects with their number of FAIR evaluations submitted and the FAIR insignia. So authenticated users can evaluate objects using this evaluation form. They will be asked to answer the set of questions associated with the digital object. They can answer on a scale from yes to no, as well as enter in optional URLs and text explanations with their answers. So you can imagine an example of one URL they might want to enter is the URL to a license for their digital object. Previously submitted evaluations can be reviewed and modified at any time. All right, so let's say I am the creator of an ontology and I have published it online. I would like to have its fairness assessed with FAIRshake. So I can do this with the FAIRshake digital object registration feature. So users can create new projects and then select FAIR rubrics for assessment of the digital objects they will register within this project. So they can select from existing rubrics in the FAIRshake database, or they can even create their own FAIR rubrics. They can then register their digital objects for evaluation and also match them to a rubric out of the ones previously selected. So the FAIRshake also offers a Chrome extension and Bookmarklet, so these are add-ons to your browser. When users have these loaded onto the browser and then navigate to the home page of a digital object they're interested in, they can execute the Chrome extension in the extensions bar, the Bookmarklet in the bookmarks bar, and they will see this pop up displaying the FAIR insignia from FAIRshake and a link to the website evaluation form where they can submit a new assessment. So FAIRshake also offers APIs for retrieving FAIR scores and questions related to digital objects in the FAIRshake database, as well as for posting FAIR assessments directly to the API. So these are all registered in Smart API, so you can go check them out for further details. So in the future, we look to develop a fully interoperable FAIR assessment API framework within the data commons for a programmatic interface between digital object stores, FAIR rubric stores, manual and automated assessment pipelines, and FAIR score displays. We also look to create support for other FAIR rubrics and assessment methods, as well as to permit users to dynamically register digital objects directly from the Chrome extension and Bookmarklet, so right from their browser. So I would like to thank the members of the data commons that we've been working with, our team Nitrogen Team Helium, of course the lab, and NIH for support. Thank you.
Any questions? Please use the microphone.
Hello, thank you very much. Wilbert van Panhuis, University of Pittsburgh. So I understand that multiple people can submit assessments
Right,
of the
exactly.
fairness. So have you done any work to kind of make sure that the scores submitted by different people or different rubrics are kind of similar or standardized in some way so that they can be comparable, so that, you know, maybe there's some interpretation required to make a score? And so I can imagine that different scores by different people may have different meaning. And so could you say something about how you address that?
Yes, so, well, for the questions, we try to make them easily comprehensible by anybody. And right now, the data in our database is synthetic, so we have not done analysis on real evaluations, but we will be writing scripts for that, and also removing like biased evaluations. Yeah, does that answer your question? Thank you.
Are there other questions?
This might be something that should have been obvious to me as you were talking, but I wasn't quite clear on, I have a digital object, I register my digital object, am I allowed to answer the questions that are posed, or do I just put it out there and trust that somebody else will answer those questions?
Yes, so the audience that we are intending FAIRshake for is anybody, so we considered crowdsourcing the assessments to any type of user, but also creators and registers for these digital objects, they can self-evaluate their digital objects, definitely.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
So I just really have a comment. It's not exactly a question, but the whole point of FAIR is actual reuse.
Right.
And so it would be nice to have some measure of actual reuse, which is not something that the author of the digital object can say. It's only somebody else who actually used it to assess whether or not it was genuinely reusable. And so I worry a little bit about all these rubrics where it's easy to write down, yes, my thing is wonderfully reusable, but there's no evidence that that's really true until somebody actually uses it for something else.
Right, you're right. So we will definitely take that into consideration.
So I'll make a comment about that. Actually, we have also been exploring automated assessments where basically the information that is being asked of by the FAIR principles are also we can find such information. So Lydia also indicated, for instance, what license are you using for your data set, your repository, your web service? This kind of information is not a subjective qualification. You either have a license or you don't. And so for many of the different FAIR principles, that this is exactly the kind of question that we ask is it, where is it? What is it? And then where is that information located? Can you provide a URL? So the onus is to provide evidence that the principle is being met. And it is a rather objective measure in that regard.
Well, reuse is an objective measure. It's just hard to come by.
There's all of the FAIR principles are just aimed at easing or facilitating the discovery and the potential for reuse, but there's no mandate that those resources be reused at all. So
It's what the R is.
it's to make it more reusable, but not any evidence of reuse per se. Yeah. Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Although people often say things that they don't actually manage to make work. Cite it, click the number of the acronym.
Okay, great. So the next talk that we have is minimum information required guideline for stroke research and